Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. How you doing? It is Thursday. Yes, another live show. I am ecstatic as always. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's do this. Oh, look who we got in the house tonight. The doc is here. All right, all right, all right. I ain't gonna get started just yet. Let me slow my train down. But I am excited though, um, to have with me this evening Dr. E, as we call her, but just such a blessing. Um, Excited about the word and what God is doing in this season. All right, so as you are coming on, do me a favor and give me a hello, and then I'll give you a hey. All right, I see mothers popped in here. And let me see. All right, there we go. And um, we gonna get this rolling and going. All right. Okay. Hey, LaShonne, how you doing, my friend? Love you. Okay, we are rolling. They coming on in. I was getting ready to start tagging people. Help me out and tag. Um,
It's a good
you-
idea.
some names here because Facebook is on their own thing. I don't know what happened with them. But anyway, um, so let me just say if you are catching the replay, do me a huge favor and do hashtag replay and then fast forward about 7 minutes, and then you will be into the juicy part of this live. All right. So we're just tagging some friends here to get some people on with us, and then we're gonna get this. Then we're gonna get this conversation going. Um, so I am just ecstatic about what God is doing in this season. Just this year has flown by, and I'm like, it's October. First, it was just August. Then it was September. Then it was the fall. Then, then it was Labor Day. Then it was the 15th. Then it was the 31st. Had to put the grill up. Just I don't know. Now it's the 19th October. That's
Uh,
just what it, huh?
Time is flying.
Time is flying.
Mhm.
Time is flying. And, I really want people to get that just as time is flying, we are on an accelerated rate.
Mhm.
And also in the spirit realm. And that acceleration is what's catapulting us into our next. Oh, okay. I won't try to get started yet, but
We ready. We ready.
I'm not into my formal yet. But I just try to talk a little bit because it's something when you go back to watch the replay and they just sitting there, they're not talking about anything.
Uh-huh.
So I try to have a little something to say about something until we get into the juicy part.
Uh-huh.
But seriously, though, the Father is just moving on a accelerated rate, and with that being said, things are moving much faster.
Mhm.
And we have to be in a ready mindset. We got to be in a ready place. We must be in a ready posture. We must be,
Must
Doc,
be.
woo,
Must.
what you got going here tonight? Trying to slow down, but they keep
I think the people's the hearts are ready.
the hearts are ready.
Hearts are
Yeah,
ready.
the hearts are ready. Amen. I'm gonna say amen. And hey, if y'all coming in, do me a favor, give us some hearts and love, and tag a few people, and let's roll and go with it. So, I am Dr. LaShonne. I am the founder of Embrace the Change. At Embrace the Change, we uplift, encourage, and empower you to embrace your change. Welcome to Shifting Mindsets live show. On this show, we have conversations to unplug old mindsets. I am excited to have Dr. E with me. Wait. Let me back the train up. Reverend Doctor. let me get it straight.
It's
She's
all
a
right.
friend, y'all, so I can mess with her a little bit. The Right Reverend Dr. Elise Saulsberry with us this evening.
Oh,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. She
mhm.
is a leader in her own right. She is a doctor, as you see. She's a writer. She's a pastor. She's a preacher. She's a singer. Okay, let me stop. I'm just adding
Wait,
things.
wait,
Let
roll
me-
that one back, Doc. Roll it back.
you don't sing? Okay.
No, no, no.
You don't sing? All
I
right.
don't want to disappoint. I don't want to
You
disappoint
know,
no.
this one. Okay, that's me. That's me adding things, y'all. That she didn't say that. That's me. That's just all me. I figure every preacher preach and sing, but a little bit.
The Lord skipped over me in that line. He ain't let me
Uh-uh.
get that line.
No, you got skipped. Okay.
Yeah, I got skipped on that.
Oh no. Okay. She is the pastor of Agape Ministries.
Mm-hmm.
Agape Ministries. Oh, my memory is working tonight.
Look at God.
She's a mother.
Yeah.
And she's director of programs for Sister Reach. I
Mhm.
think I've captured the majority of it.
Yeah. 12 years. Happy anniversary, Sister Reach.
Oh, 12 years.
12
Whoop,
years
whoop, whoop,
today.
whoop. Oh, today. Wow.
Yes,
Okay. 12 years. Wow.
I know.
All right. Give us some hello and greetings and before we get
Well,
going.
hello, everybody. I am Reverend Dr. Elise Saulsberry of Agape Affirming Ministries. Absolutely a blessing to be here. Thank you, Dr. L, for the invitation. I don't know. I feel good about this conversation, Doc. I think the Lord is with us for sure in this conversation. So I'm excited. Thanks y'all for joining us. Those that are joining, who are just familiar faces, those who are just kind of, we call it stroll on in. Thanks for being here. Preferably, we'll say something that is a blessing to you and your life. And so again, thank you, Dr. L, for this invitation. I'm nervous and elated to be. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Definitely worthy and my goodness, a reverend in your own right. And I'm not just putting icing on the cake.
Praise thanks.
But we have a great topic this evening.
Yeah.
We have such a topic, and how this came about. We had what I think you posted something. She posted something, and then a little later, I posted something, but I hadn't seen her post. And they confirmed each other. And it was like, what? She's like, you see this? I said, no. I went to hers. I said, oh my goodness. And I was like, Doc, look, listen, we got to come to the stage. We got to come and talk about this thing. And lo and behold, here we are. Here we
Yeah.
are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here
Thank
we
you.
are. So the topic this evening is walking into your next.
Mhm.
Walking into your next. Wow. Walking into your next. Now, that by itself will preach,
Mhm.
but we're going to talk to the people tonight.
Sure.
Feel free though. If you feel it hit you, I won't stop you. But
I know, Doc. I think I'm following.
you
But I'm with you. It's a great conversation to have. I think it's a great conversation to have in the season that we're in. I think you mentioned that earlier. Just it's the time. The time is right for this conversation. So I'm excited. I'm listening. I'm listening.
all right, all right. Well, hey, we're gonna jump in. So, and what I was saying earlier before I, just fell right over into the topic and wasn't even trying, is that this year has just, it feels like it's just flying right by. We're already in the last quarter, already halfway through October, and before you know it, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's Eve, and okay, I'm gonna stop right there. But I will say that because what's happening natural is also happening in the spirit realm, and that being we are on an accelerated rate, and the Father is doing some things expeditiously for us. He is moving quickly, and we definitely have to follow his lead. When he's given us something, we got to jump on it. It's like the waters are troubled, the stream is ready, the resources are in line, everything is in order, and here he comes, and he's giving you that unction. We have to move with it at
Yeah.
that moment, because it's something about the right timing. Having the right timing will just open up some things for us. Having the right timing will give us that favor and grace upon things. And so, as we walk into our next, we have to do just that. We have to be in a ready posture. We have to be ready to go to the next. Sometimes people look at the next and they feel like, oh my goodness, it's too big. I
Yeah.
I can't go there. You want me to do that? Do you know who I am? Do you know where I came from? People begin to put themselves down. But God will choose us not because, we try to qualify ourselves, but because He knows that we can.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Doc. I'm woo.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head starting off, Dr. L, with the season, right? Ecclesiastes tells us that for everything there's a season. And
Yeah.
most of the time when seasons change, we feel the shift. We feel
Yeah.
there's something about the energy, right? The energy that we feel. Sometimes it when we don't move or we don't prepare ourselves to hear God say go or do or this is the next, the anxiety in a season begins to increase because we haven't positioned ourselves for the next. And if we have positioned ourselves, we don't necessarily want to go because we've gotten comfortable where we are. But when the season to be plucked up comes, right, for us to be moved to the next, then
Hmm.
it's time to move. And sometimes, whether you're ready or not, the assignment comes and you gotta answer it. You gotta answer it.
Yes.
So seasons is the first thing. Anytime we move from summer to fall, it starts to rain. Like it before it even gets cooler, it rains a lot. And when it does that, the first thing I start saying is the season is changing, right? The season is
Yes.
changing. There's a shift. So even before the cold months come, there's a sign that the hot months are about to leave, and most of the time it's rain.
It sure is. You
Yeah,
saying something right
season is
there.
changing.
So
It
we
is.
will have indicators to let
Mm-hmm.
us know
Yes.
that the season is changing. We will have indicators to know that it's time to level up. We will have indicators and markers, things along the way to let us know that the change is in the process.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's hard to move from those places of comfort, right? Or places where we've been weaned from a baby up to the point where God is preparing us to leave, right? Or preparing us for greater, or preparing us for ministry, or preparing us for a level up. It is difficult to leave those places. But here's one of the things that I realize sometimes, that God, as I look back over my own life, I look at how those things had to happen in order for me to get it. Like there would be the call of God to do a thing, and I'd be like, God, I don't know, and they may not affirm, and they may not be okay, and I don't want to usurp authority. I don't want to feel like there are also these spaces we can be in where people will attempt to disqualify us, right? Because
Yes.
there's a benefit to them holding us, right? But it is
Ah,
it is devastating for us to sit in a place of comfort when we know that God has said there is more, or to go, or to build, or to do, or to even, to pray for the next, where the path will be clear. And so again, we sit in a place of comfort, and we're accustomed to sometimes what is really spiritual abuse, and we sit there, and then God has to allow a storm to come because the season
come
has
on.
shifted. Right? The season has already shifted, but you're still sitting in the summer months in the dry place, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
still sitting in a hot place. So one of the things about this conversation that the Lord dropped in my spirit was about when God told Abraham, go from this place, get thee out of thy country, from thy kindred, from
Yeah.
thy father's house, from everything that was familiar,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it
Yeah.
says, now the Lord said, right? In that
Uh-huh.
moment, the Lord said, get thee out of the familiar place. Ain't no prep time, right? As far as what Abraham knew in a minute, in the moment, there wasn't any prep time, but every experience leading up to the moment God said go was the prep time. But you don't
Yeah.
realize it in a moment, right?
That's
You don't
true.
realize it. And so Abraham was 75 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Where we going, God?
Right.
To an unfamiliar place. But here is the beauty, that when God says go, God is telling you to go because that place that you're in has dried up.
Come on.
Right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
For I know the plans that I have for you. Like we always quote that, right? But
Yeah.
even in the text in Genesis 12, where God told Abraham to go, it had dried up. And God was saying go. God knew where God was sending Abraham to. Abraham didn't know. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything that you're familiar with. I was talking to a friend of mine about the story about Lot. And when his wife, the Bible said that when she turned back to look, she turned into a pillar of salt. But here is what I believe about that text.
Uh-huh.
Just because you look back, it doesn't mean you turning literally into a pillar of salt, right? Salt,
Mm-hmm.
the taste of salt is in our tears. So sometimes when you look back, it is tearful because everything that you know is in the place that's behind you.
Ah,
Is in the place that's behind you.
it's
So
behind you.
yeah, you're gonna turn into tears, right? Or tearful, or there's gonna be sorrow when you look back, right? Yes,
It
you
will
are,
be.
because everything you knew was in that place.
Mm-hmm.
But there is greater, right, in front of
Mm-hmm.
you. We just have to be willing to say yes, first of all, to the assignment, to the next, and then we have to be willing to say yes to the process, because grief and leaving a familiar place is a part of the process.
Yes. Leaving that familiar place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and because if you stay in that familiar place, when God is telling you to move forward, when He is pushing you to your next,
Mm-hmm.
um, it will then begin to cause stagnation to come.
Mm-hmm.
That's like keeping bread past its expiration.
Yeah.
It'll begin to mold. It's like, oh no, that's been there too long.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine that. How does the Father see us as stagnation? Does He see us as mold?
Mm.
Because we're just, won't take the time to move forward, won't take the time to thrust when the Father is telling us to go forward because it seems too big. It's like, God, you
Mm-hmm.
want me to do what? But am I qualified?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but and there's some intimidation because
Yeah.
it feels so big. It
Yeah.
looks huge. He has shown you this thing like this, and you like, um, are you sure, Father, that you have me aligned with the right image? Because
Right.
you sure? Because, but yes, he does. He
Yeah.
has you. I'm talking to you, and
Yeah.
you. He has you aligned with the correct image. But
Yeah.
we need you to get out of that place. You will
Mhm.
not, I decree, you will no longer be stuck.
Yeah.
It is time for you to look. Where my shovel at? Where my pick? We gonna get
Yes.
you out of there today.
Yes.
Come on up and out and thrust forward.
Yeah, it's like in this text with Abraham, when God says now go, right? That
Yeah.
means if God is saying now to go, that means the place has already been prepared.
Come
But the
on.
fear between the now and the there, it's a dash in between, right? We have to trust. We have to believe. The Bible says in Hebrews 11 that by faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of
Mm-hmm.
all, now faith in
Now
11
faith.
and 1, and then by faith, Abraham left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a promise, but some of us don't get past the first sentence of God saying, go, now go. Go to
Mm-hmm.
an unfamiliar place, an unfamiliar land. You ain't gonna know nobody. Don't nobody know your title. Don't nobody know your history. They don't know about you being a priest. They don't know nothing about it, right? But I need you to go. And so again, there is an in between time. There's an anxiety of the go. There's the Lord. I just want to make sure I go when I'm supposed to go, right? But the
Uh-huh.
order has already been given and the path has already been made, and all you got to do is go. God promised Abraham blessings if you go, right?
Yes.
God is never going to send us to a dry place, to an even drier place,
That's right.
right? So yeah, the blessing is in the first of all being willing to hear God say more than just go, because we'll hear the go and go, okay, wait, that it ain't necessarily in agreement with what I want to hear, so we'll shut the voice of God down,
Mm.
right? We'll shut it down. But one of the things about it, the Holy Spirit spoke to me some years ago. There was some guy was trying to get me to do it, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Now
Mm-hmm.
I was boldly saying no because I really didn't want to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then God started allowing these things. Every time there would be an assignment that I felt like was something insurmountable,
Mm-hmm.
I would revert back to it. Would just fear would almost cripple me,
I hear
right?
you.
Anxiety would kick in. All of these
Mm-hmm.
things I would shut down. I would be in silo and quiet and just come away from crowds and just kind of shut in, not to obey, not to consecrate, but because of fear would
Mm-hmm.
grip me that bad, right? And
Right.
so when you don't leave a place
Come on.
where God has given the assignment to leave,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter the why. One of the things that God allowed with me is there had to be a rupture for me to leave that place, to make sure that
Oh,
I never turn back.
see.
Now that ain't what y'all want. Let me tell you. Let me be a
No,
witness and
no,
tell you
yeah, you don't want that. No, you don't want
that's
that.
not what you that's
You
not what
don't.
you want. Just go and prepare yourself, gird up your loins to leave, pack your
You don't.
bags because the assignment's coming, the call is coming,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't take that. But I would really be paralyzed because I didn't. My other thing wasn't just that I was afraid, Doc. The thing was, one, I didn't want to leave the place I was in. Two, I didn't want to disappoint the people that I was committed to in that place. And three, I really didn't feel like I was equipped to do it, even though God knew I was,
Mhm.
wherever that next place was. And
Right.
at the same time, I had to get to a place where I didn't want God to allow a rupture to happen in order for me to go forward. So,
Now you,
there's never a time that God is going to ask you to leave a dry place that there isn't a better place already prepared, right? So
yeah,
we
that's
have to
true.
be willing to hear. We have to be willing to obey, and we got to really trust the God that we say we believe in.
And that's that. Now that's true. Now, I like what you said there about Abraham. And
Mm-hmm.
God told him to go.
Mm-hmm.
Get all your stuff and get to
Take it up.
stepping.
Yes.
He didn't he said just go.
Yeah.
And now that takes faith.
Yes.
That takes totally trusting in God.
Mm-hmm.
Like next level trust. Like that blind kind of faith. Like that,
Yes.
like, oh, okay, you want me to go
Mm-hmm.
where? Because I hear people say they're waiting on God, they're waiting on God, but God has already given the order.
Yeah. And
If
that's
God
not an
wants us,
excuse to not do or go.
I
Because
can't
here's the
believe I'm
thing, whether
serious,
you
man.
obey the assignment or the call or not, it is required of you.
It is. But we can't, he told him to go,
Mm-hmm.
and they did
At 75 years old.
at 75. Okay. I ain't even want to touch that one. I ain't even want to touch
75.
75. But look, but he didn't hesitate. He didn't
Mm-mm.
give no excuse.
Mm-mm.
He told his whole, and that was an entourage he had to get together.
Yes.
It wasn't just like, me and mine and that's all.
Yes.
He had a whole entourage, and look, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
He packed his house and they went.
Yeah.
But going in that kind of faith, and that's what I have found, that when you obey what God is telling you to do, he
Mhm.
will give you the rest while you're in motion.
Yes.
He will give you the rest um, as you are progressing forward.
Mm-hmm.
So as you are walking, and that's how you walk into your next, is by being obedient unto what the Father has said.
Yes.
He's given an instruction. Now go ahead and do it. You wonder why some things haven't opened up. You wondering why, how come this hasn't changed? You
Mm-hmm.
wondering why, God, why does it feel like I'm still in this silo? God, how come? How come? How come? And on and on and on. But we'll go back. Has God given you an instruction that
Yeah.
you have not obeyed? Go back and find that instruction and get to stepping. Get on it. Get to moving with it
Uh-huh.
right now. Because
Yeah.
that's going to take you to your next. And
Mm-hmm.
while you are going into your next, know that God has already prepared the way. Know that He has already have things aligned for you
Already.
already. And when it's your time, when you reach that mile marker of the things that are already put in place for you, when you've
Mm.
already reached it, he's gonna you will know.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a, oh my goodness, how can I describe it? When you approach that door and it knows that a human being has reached that door,
Mm-hmm.
it'll open because it can detect the presence of heat.
Yes.
I ain't messing
That's
with
good,
y'all
Doc.
tonight.
That's
It will
good.
detect the presence of heat. Now, let me tell you, when my fingers get cold and I try to use this phone, it can't, nothing will happen because
Mm-hmm.
it can't detect my
Yeah.
finger.
Yeah.
It can't feel the blood, the
That's good.
warmth, the warmth.
That's that's good, doctor. Listen, you made me think about something. I was going through the airport one day, and I didn't know the biometrics thing was set up for me. So
Mhm.
I get to the what was it, the TSA pre-check. So
Okay.
I get through the line and I'm standing there about to pull my license out, and she says, Miss Saulsberry, and I was like, what? But I was allowed access. She knew who
See.
I was, to your point, when I got to where she was, and whatever computer was reading, whatever it was reading about me. Now, I don't think I got, none, no chips in my skin. But when I got up there,
Mhm.
whatever the machine was that was reading the biometrics, she knew my name.
Mhm.
and allow me access to go
Yeah.
through the security check. So
Mm-hmm.
it's to your point. The door, it can't open if it's not yours. It won't open.
Come on.
Yours. Yeah,
But
you won't be
but we
allowed
got to get up
access if
and
it's
get to
not
it
yours.
too.
Yes.
Somehow I'm waiting on the Lord, but you sitting back here at home.
Mm-hmm. Because the Lord waiting on you.
The Lord is waiting on you, walking into your
You're
next.
next.
See what the title is? Walking. That's
Listen,
an
not
action
running.
word. As long as you're not sitting, you can
Yeah.
gallop, you can skip,
Some of
just
us crawling.
get to moving.
At least you moving.
Just start moving.
Yeah.
And that's
You
what I
know, Doc,
found.
we say a
Sometimes
lot. We
it's
say a lot.
difficult. It's
Yeah.
difficult trying to
It is
move
difficult.
because it's like the unknown. It's the
Mm-hmm.
uncharted territory. But when you brought up Abraham, I'm like, nowhere did it say he second guessed. Nowhere. I mean, and it wasn't just him. He had to pack his whole house, his
Mm-hmm.
entourage.
Mm-hmm.
And that took an effort.
Mm-hmm.
But he did it and said, look, we got to go.
Gotta go.
And didn't know where they would end up
Yeah.
until he got there. Then he knew, oh, this is where I'm supposed to land, right here.
There's an appointed place
Okay.
at an
So we
appointed time.
see.
And here is the thing, Doc, like you were saying a minute ago, in this assignment, we have to get beyond God saying go. Like fear, sometimes it grips us then, but here is the blessing in God saying go from the dry place.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we're even worried about people and what we're encounter along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But God told Abraham, I'll bless those who bless you, and
Yeah.
I'll curse those who curse you.
Mm-hmm.
So there is legit nothing that can cross your path that can stop you from getting to your appointed place at the appointed time. But
All
you,
right. All right.
it's you. It's not people, it's not the mountain, it's not any barrier, it's not money, none of that.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to go and find out. At least try,
At
right?
least try. At
At least
least
try.
try. Get self out of the
Yeah.
way. And
Yeah.
it's something else we do. We overthink.
Yes. Yes.
Now I'm a planner. So now if I'm taking a trip, I'm already looking at where we going. I'm already planning the restaurants, the locate. I'm doing all that kind of planning. I ain't gonna get into all the I ain't gonna get into all the details, but it's just the highlights.
Uh-huh.
So imagine now we gotta leave the planning to somebody else,
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
but it's just not anybody else.
Yeah.
It's God the Father.
Mm-hmm.
He has a top aerial view of my life
Yeah.
from beginning to the end. And so he already knows and can see where I'm headed,
Mm-hmm.
and he won't let me bump my head.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when toddlers start walking. Soon as they start, we're kind of you brace them a little bit, but after a while, you like, that's the only way they're gonna learn.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get up and they wobble, and you just let them wobble,
Yeah.
and they'll get it. Then they'll fall, they'll get back up, and you be like, hee, just to let them know it's okay, you're not hurt.
Yeah.
How much more would the Father do
How
the
much
same
more?
for us? To say, hey, guess what? You ain't hurt. I got you covered. I got you covered. This thing is not going to hurt you. This thing is not going to bother. Don't worry about the wiles of the enemy. Don't
Mm-hmm.
worry about none of that stuff. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's uncharted territory,
Yeah.
but I got you. That's what the Father's saying. He got you.
The entire way, right?
The entire way.
Even when the children of Israel were going through the desert, there was manna, there was anything that they needed to get them through. Now, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that it's not going to be trying, right? It doesn't mean that you're not going to run into obstacles. It doesn't mean that. But it means that the path has already been created and the way has already been made and the sustenance is already there waiting for you. That's why we're not waiting on God. That's an excuse, right? That's an
Yeah.
excuse for I just didn't know. Well,
Mm-hmm.
God, I was waiting on the sign. And if you're waiting on the sign tonight, this is your sign, by the way.
This
Go.
your sign right here.
This your sign right here.
I wish
This
I
the
had a
sign.
little strobe light to be like,
Uh-huh. This the sign.
this your sign right here.
Age ain't an excuse. Money ain't an excuse. There's no excuse. Blessings are on the other side. The other text that I love that we quote all the time, Doc, we
Mm.
stop literally at the first sentence, Jeremiah 29:11. We we shout until we can't shout no more. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, say
Yes.
thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. But watch
Mm-hmm.
this.
Uh-huh.
12 says, then ye shall call upon me and shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you, and ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart. Here's 14. And I
Mm-hmm.
will be found of you, said the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will
Mm.
gather you from all the nations and from all the places where I have driven you,
Yes.
said the Lord. That's the Lord saying that. Where I driven you, where I sent you to, where I
Mm-hmm.
drove you to. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring you again to the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. I'm going to bring you back from the place that I sent you to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, sometimes we don't realize that places that we're driven to is what that text says. It is God. So
Yes.
many times we'll say, "Oh, that's the devil." Satan, the Lord rebuke. Like we quick to blame things that don't look like it's gonna be beneficial on the devil. I know the devil sometimes be like, "See, I ain't got nothing to do with that. It ain't me this time, but okay." Right? Because again, it is us being accustomed to stagnation and making excuses. And here's the one that I'm so sick of hearing about, but I hear people say it all the time. Well, I'm praying. I'm praying to see what the Lord say. And 20 years later, they still praying to see what the Lord said. And the Lord spoke 40 years ago, right?
Oh,
40 years ago, you're a
take the
teenager when
step.
God said, go, and I am going to send you. And then here's the other thing. Doc will say,
Yeah.
send me, Lord, I'll go. Because it sounds good, right? But we won't go, right? Because we fold to our own, what you said, overthinking. And we
Overthink.
don't trust. We don't trust God.
We must, and I,
Mhm.
I like how you brought that in. A lot of times people will wait, um, waiting, saying they're waiting for God, or they're just
Mhm.
sitting at a place which, because they have sat for so long, it has become a place of stagnation.
Mhm.
And something I was sharing on another live is that if you sit in stagnation too long, it will begin to make a sinking hole.
Mhm.
And sitting in stagnation, that's what'll happen.
Mhm.
It'll begin to just do like this, and you'll
Yes.
sink down, because you're what, being stagnant.
Mhm.
But we getting up and progressing forward,
Yeah.
and so taking that first step. A lot of times it's just getting the guts and be like, all right, I'm gonna just do this, and go ahead and just do it. Go ahead and take that step. I
Yeah.
mean, what's the worst that could happen is that
Mhm.
you might have to make some tweaks, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But the key point is that you took a step, and it's
Yeah.
in taking that step that now you know the adjustments you need to make.
Mhm.
That someone had put, along the way. So as you are progressing along the way, the Father will release things unto us while we are progressing forward toward that mark, toward the prize, toward what He would have for us.
Mhm.
and he's releasing it, and it'll be right in line and in time for the things
Yes.
that we need.
Yes.
Because see, Abraham knew when he was at the place where, oh, I'm supposed to settle here.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, all these other things. He set up camp, just he made a home.
Yes.
Okay. But see, as we are progressing and moving about in our lives, let's say that you want to set up a new shop, and you set that new shop up, but you like, okay, Father, where should I go? What should I do? He'll give you what to do. He'll tell you where to go, but it's in that moving toward it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he will now, you're like, okay, all right, I'm gonna start making calls. I'm gonna start doing some research.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, and you start talking to somebody, randomly. Oh, you know what? I know somebody that is in that field
Yeah.
or in that area. They can help you with that. Oh, I know somebody else that
Yes.
can bring you this here. Oh, you know what? And we can get you this for this unit for this amount. And we can do, all of a sudden things were just
Start unfolding.
unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the confirmation.
Yes.
So you want to know if you are going in the right direction as you are leveling up, right? Walking into your next,
Mm-hmm.
you as you take that step, each time, things will happen and it will confirm.
Yeah.
It'll come back and you'll be like, "Oh, okay." And everything will begin to just come together like
Yeah.
it's supposed to come together. And if something's not coming together or something is not quite aligning, then you need to make an adjustment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And here's the other thing, Doc. When you're in that place, you don't have to compromise you. That's how you know the door is yours. You ain't got to turn cartwheels, right? You just got to be willing to go. You don't have to compromise your values. You don't have to compromise your beliefs. You don't have to compromise anything, right?
Hmm.
And the other thing is sometimes we want before we when we know that we're overthinkers many of the time when God say go, and it's what you said, God will open up things as you go because you will never go if you see the big picture in the beginning. It took God showing me a little bit at a time as I went for me to accept where I landed and eventually get to the next, because if God had shown me the whole, and I haven't even arrived at the there yet. I'm just in the in between,
Come
right?
on.
But God has to show us a little bit at a time, or we'll get intimidated on the front end
You're
and
right.
we'll never move. So it is as we go. That's one thing the Holy Spirit spoke to me, as you go. Because
Yeah.
I'm the type where, see, Doc, you said you the planner. But
Uh-huh.
but here is what I had to confess out of my mouth the other day to one of my friends. I said, I kind of understand why I'm not a planner. Because
Hmm.
I would plan things many years ago, I would plan things and I would get to that place and some kind of disappointment will happen. So then I start just shooting by the seat of my pants. I
Wow.
decided when it get here, it didn't matter who it inconvenienced or what it railroaded. It was that I had to wait because I didn't want to experience the disappointment that came with planning.
Ah,
Right. So
come
we
on.
have to be honest with ourselves too about why we do what we do, because there is nothing stopping us if we believe that we are embodiments, or that God embodies us. I am that I am. That
Yeah.
means that God is what we need when we need God to be it. And if God lives within us, all we got to do is speak it to manifest it,
Hmm.
right? To manifest what it is we're saying we want.
Come on.
Genesis. And God said,
And
and
God
God said,
said.
and that
Hmm.
same God resides within us. So
Hmm.
all you got to do is say it. So the other thing, what you say and speak into the atmosphere as you go. because you're gonna manifest it, right?
Yes.
Because is at you. You speak doubt, you're gonna manifest doubt. You speak trouble, you're gonna manifest trouble. You speak anxiety, you're gonna manifest anxiety. You speak a barrier, a mountain in your way, it's gonna show. When all you gotta do that is say mountain be removed and keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, and it's not to oversimplify because some things are intimidating, right? Especially in the environment that we're moving through right now. There's a lot
Yeah.
going on. The earth is literally regurgitating at our
Yes.
disobedience.
Ah,
People say,
listen.
"Oh, well, sin is causing the earth to." No, the earth is regurgitating at the
Mm-hmm.
disobedience of those that God has called to speak for those who can't speak for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Intimidated. The earth is regurgitating. And we keep saying, well, I'm praying about it. And God has said, go. Because you said, here I am, Lord, send me.
Yeah.
It's time to go, Doc.
It's time to go. Listen, y'all, listen. It's time to go and put that faith into action. And that's trusting God at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
He will not set you up to fail.
Yeah. That part.
He will not set you up to fail. Yeah, you might have failed, had other people to set you up to fail, other people disappoint you, other people not to come through. Yeah, but God is not going to do that to you. He's really trying to get some things to you
Yeah.
and, some better things. He wished above all.
Yes.
Okay. He wished above all. Ah, he wants us in good health. He wants the best for us.
Yes.
And just like you would want the best for your children, you would want your child or your children to go through the things that you went through, some of the hardships, some of the
Yeah.
things where you had to wing it on your own, some of the things and the pressures of life where, as and when we were coming up, a lot of things we had to do unattended. We wouldn't even want our children to have to go through those things.
Don't talk about the oldest girl syndrome. You had
No,
to do
no,
everything.
I know. But and so now being at a place to where, we want to make it so it's not that it's necessarily easy where they don't get a lesson or they don't understand responsibility or they don't understand the call and what their role is.
Yeah.
But enough to where, hey, why don't I teach you a lesson without you going through the hardship?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Father is doing this thing for us. This topic, walking into your next, take the step. God has everything aligned for you. And
Mm-hmm.
look, let me do this right here. I cancel all that fear
Yeah.
and that doubt, that
Yes.
hesitation, that second guessing, that
Mm-hmm.
overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Come out of stagnation, all of
Yes.
those things. Look, we cut them off and send them back to the pit of hell. You shall thrust forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean a full thrust at what God has called you to do, what He has put
Yes.
in your heart. And you know what? What God has given you to do, it doesn't mean that you need a microphone. What
Right.
God has given you to do doesn't mean you need to be here on camera.
Mm-hmm.
It just means you need to be obedient unto what it is He has given you to do, whatever that is.
Yes.
Other day I was out, was it the weekend? There was a guy on the corner with a microphone and a speaker preaching. Do whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Some people are on the subway passing out papers, not little small tracks, track like material.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, there's some people there singing gospel word or inspirational songs. Whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
the key is to do it.
That's it. That's it. To do it.
Yeah. It's long enough. The Father has been it so we started out saying about how we this year has been just going by fast and we are on an accelerated rate.
Mhm.
And the Father wants to get us to that next. He wants us at our next because why? That's where we belong. This
Mhm.
acceleration will also get us there faster if we do y'all remember the slip and slide? I don't know
Yeah.
why that just came to my mind. Slip and slide. That thing was fun.
I remember. We
I,
telling our age, Doc.
I know, but I don't think they make it no more.
I
But it was
don't think
fun.
so.
I know I haven't seen it. But the slip and slide was fun. You would hook it up in your
Mhm.
backyard or somewhere with a water hose, and you do just that. You get on it and you slip and you slide. You just start sliding down. It was a lot of fun. But I
Yeah.
tell you this, and as fast as you would get on there and you'd be like, wee, whoop, that's how fast. That's
Right.
how fast God is shifting us. That is how
Mhm.
fast God is catapulting. That is how
Mhm.
fast God is taking us from here to there. And if the year is going this fast, if the months are going this fast, then
Yes.
why would he move you at a turtle's pace?
Mm.
That doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. It's not in line with how the rest of the time is going around us.
Yeah.
Because then what? That'll be off center. That'll be off settled.
Mhm.
So we are going at an accelerated rate, but that's because we are being obedient. We are moving and stepping into the things that the Father has given us. And you
Mhm.
know what? Apostle of mine years ago said to me, even if you are afraid, do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Yes.
Just say, all right, I'm going to do this and do it. And,
Yes.
and a lot of times, by the time you do it, it's gone
Mhm.
because you've taken that step. It's really that first step. But after that, it's going to work itself out. God has it planned for you.
Yes.
Any
Yes.
final remarks, Doc?
Yeah, just to understand that as you are walking into your next, knowing the difference between the voice of God and the enemy. And here's one of the ways you know. Where Jesus says the thief comes not but for to steal, kill, and to destroy. If it does any of those things, you know it ain't God.
That's right.
Jesus said, I have come that you might have life and that more abundantly. If it moves you to what abundance means for you and your life, do that. So yes, that those are my last words. You know, nothing that God has prepared for us is going to cause us harm. It's
That's
only
right.
going to lead us to abundance. And that is how you know the difference. Because that's one of the things too, Doc, where people really want to know what this God is. If it moves you to abundance without you having to compromise you,
Mm-hmm.
keep going,
Keep
keep
going.
moving forward.
Keep moving forward.
Yes.
Yes, I like that. I like that. Wow. Let me tell you. I know y'all were blessed tonight. Talk to me in the comments. I know this word blessed you all tonight. It blessed me.
It blessed me, Doc. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I missed some people in there that came on. So thank you for joining us. What a marvelous word, marvelous time, Dr. E. I truly, truly appreciate you.
Bless you, Doc.
Um, and thank you for coming on again.
Anytime. Anytime. Look, it's some folk that call, you just answer when they call.
I'm glad to be in that category.
Yeah, but listen. I'm grateful for folks who will call because people ain't got to be nice to you. They don't have to call you. So thank
Right.
you, thank you, thank you. I've been
Yeah.
blessed. I've been
Yeah.
blessed by what you shared. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, hey, you all, this was such a great word. Be ready for our next live will be November 2nd. I believe that's a Thursday. Am I saying the right date? I think so. Yes. Okay. We try to get a dates nowadays instead of just saying the in 2 weeks. November 2nd. We thank you so much for joining us. Is that Dupree? Dupree, when you getting on here? I keep saying that, and that's all right. I'm gonna have to hit Dupree up, see what's going on. Such a blessing. Just want to thank everyone for being so kind and joining us on the live, and all of those catching the replay. We just bless God for you. And we look forward to having you on our next show. All right. God bless. Have a good one.